And welcome to another edition of Carnivore Radio. I'm your host, Jeff Sherman, along with Chris Calandra. Chris, how you doing?
I am great. It's a happy Friday.
Yes, it is a very happy Friday, and I think the weather is actually unbelievably perfect, isn't it?
It is majestic, but I'm happy to be here with you. And for those of you listening and hopefully enjoying the weather, Jeff and I talked a few minutes before the show. We both got here and just kind of caught up, and he refused to tell me what we're going to talk about today because he wants us to be spontaneous. So he has some ideas that he's chomping at the bit to get out there. So, Jeff, what are you thinking about?
Number one, and it all relates to politics.
All right.
Lately, is the R word. We know we hold them in high esteem. Dr. Eric Lopkin says, no, 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 no. I say, yes, 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 yes. Recession is around the corner. And I want your opinion on that first.
Oh, that's a pretty good debate. So I'll take the opposite side of that. I think that there's a lot of fears that we'll get a recession. And
okay, can I stop? No,
yeah,
no. I minored in grad school in economics, and you can have all the theory and all this stuff. 80% of economics is between the ears.
Yes.
And when you hear stock market, you hear the mainstream media, recession. Let's talk about companies. I was going to hire Chris, Bob, John, and Nancy. And I'm like, I think I'll just hire Nancy. It's like it's a rubberneck effect.
Okay.
It's like, whoa, 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 whoa. And then, I was going to buy my wife a necklace and take her out to Disney World. I think I'll just go to Disney World. It's minor at first. Minor.
Okay.
And your comment, you're involved in that area. I'm just throwing out my 2 cents. That's it. And I think stock market, 800 points, 900 points. What did it do today? I have no idea.
It was up a couple of hundred points earlier today.
Okay.
But it's been very schizophrenic, and it's definitely has a downward bias right now. So it'll go down 800, rally 300,
Yeah, I got it. But it's not, at least it's, okay, if it was continue going down, that's, but, bond inversion, I'm sorry. I'm more of a psychology guy than a facts and figures because I think sometimes these statistics are based in old school economics that might not apply right now. Could, maybe yes, maybe no. But I'm thinking about psychology, and then what does it do to Trump because he's hung his hat on the economy? And by the way, I find that disturbing, whatever, not disturbing. I'm a little aghast by that because when I was in corporate and I had things that were smoking, meaning way up, I never said, these things are smoking, it's amazing, because I knew what comes up goes down. So my point is not to belabor a point, but if he said, yes, the economy's good, but let's be cognizant, everyone out there, that, there's headwinds, the world economy's not doing well, we're doing better than everyone else, and we'll see how it goes in the future. What do you think, Chris? I said a lot, but what do you think?
Yeah, there's a lot to unpack there. Let me kick it back to you first off. If a deal gets done with China.
Oh, then it's all bets are off.
Then
the stock market, 1,000. The stock market goes up one day 1,000 points.
Okay.
1,000.
All right. So
1,000.
So we agree on that. I'm optimistic a deal with China will get done. But as we talked about when I was on the show 2 weeks ago, it's going to take a little bit of time.
Okay, if you're China, why would you ever acquiesce and say, yeah, we'll do the deal?
Because we are China's biggest customer.
2 years. You got a year to wait. You get a numb brain. Like any of the Democrats, which they are totally out of. Biden is clinically senile. You look at, he's not going to win.
Okay.
You got Kamala Harris. Mm-hmm. These people are like, really? You're China, you're going, first of all, how do these people ever even rise to this? And second, if they're in, we are so good.
If
they're like idiots.
If, let's say, a Democrat does win in 2020, I still don't think the American people will go back to business as usual with business as usual with China.
A good point, great point. Yes.
And for example, and I think I had said this 2 weeks ago, if you look at Elizabeth Warren's comments as an example, she's very harsh on China, as is Bernie Sanders. Joe Biden is all over the map, and he has some really close ties to China, so it's hard to figure on that. But I don't think the American people want to go back to business as usual with China. I think it's one of the few unifying things. If you walk down Main Street America today and you say, has China been played fair, or have they taken advantage of the U.S.? Everyone says they've played unfair and haven't been a very good partner. So I don't think the waiting game has as much appeal as you might think. And then the last point I would say, Jeff, is their economy is not doing very well. They have social unrest in Hong Kong. You know, they have a lot of issues. So
okay, but the Asian,
too.
not being racist, it's just true. The philosophy, the mindset of the Asian mind is based in Asian philosophies, okay, which they're great at. Like, look at Japan. They play the long game.
True.
Okay? So you're thinking, and they don't want to be humiliated, which Trump kind of did. Said, hey, you know, it's like, you know, picking a fight with someone or picking whatever, saying, listen, you know, hey, you don't like it? Here's some more. I'm throwing some more crap on your lawn. It's true.
We talked about this 2 weeks ago, though. If you look at President Trump's comments, he's not nearly as nasty with the Chinese politicians and leaders as he is with anyone else, including people in his own Republican Party. But, you know, go back to the recession thing. So we agree if a deal with China is done,
no recession.
Then no recession goes to very, very small. So
no, it's small enough to be of no consequence. Even if it slows down, it's not going to be detrimental.
Okay.
1,000%.
All right. And then I would submit to you that the economy grew by 3.2% in the first quarter, 2.1% in the second quarter. You have unemployment at 50-year lows. And Walmart, as an example, came out with earnings, I think, this week. And they commented how strong the U.S. consumer is.
Yes.
So I have difficulty seeing economic metrics that today are hinting at a recession.
In a year.
Because I would want to see it in the numbers first. And it's hard to envision that with consumer confidence still at a 17-year high and the job market so very strong. We might not see that as much in Connecticut as elsewhere in the country, but the job market is very strong, and we've had good economic growth. Something would have to change those metrics quite a bit for me to start thinking recession. But you may be early and correct, and I may come to your side.
Okay, if there's a
over
recession,
time.
is Trump screwed?
Trump will be in huge trouble if there's a recession because his shtick.
That's his whole thing. People may not like him for his personality, which is easily done. But, hey, I got a job or I got this. Yeah. That goes away.
Yeah,
he's
absolutely.
in big trouble.
I mean, use me as an example. I'm a big Trump supporter, but I think he's a much bigger jerk than I ever thought he was. And I've been a fan of Donald Trump's way before he entered politics. But, you know, I'm willing to put up with some amount of him being a jerk because he's doing a good job. If we enter in a recession and the economy really struggles, well, then you just have a jerk that's not providing good economic leadership
it's
too.
like, yeah, absolutely.
He's
It's like you're an entrepreneur, but let's look at like a corporate situation. You got a guy, a woman that's doing something and she's doing a great job, and then that starts to go away, and then you're saying, well, you get rid of that person because what you allowed to happen, or you said, that's just her or him, is no longer cool.
Yeah, and I think that important middle of the electorate might go along with Trump if he scores well on job performance. He's never going to get very high marks on being a nice guy, or people are not going to look up to him like they did with Barack Obama. But if he gets high job performance numbers, inclusive of the economy, he's got more than a fighter's chance to be successful. But without the economy, he would be in big trouble.
Let's see what our callers have to say. 860-685-7700, 685-7700, 685-7700. We're talking about the economy. We're talking about politics. Economy is probably the first thing I'd really like to get some feedback from our listeners about is, are you feeling a little less secure than you did? That'd be interesting, wouldn't it?
It would be interesting. And what you said is important, the psychology. I said that I don't see it in the numbers, which makes me unconvinced that we're near a recession. But your point is really valid because psychology could get negative such that it begins showing up in the numbers. It could be a self-fulfilling prophecy. And with all of this negative sentiment that seems to be seeping into the markets, then maybe the psychology changes, and then that leads to the economic numbers I'm looking for in terms of a search for a recession. You may very well be right.
Okay, let's see what our caller has to say. Caller, are you there?
Yes, I am.
Good. What say you? We're talking about a couple things, two things. We're talking about the prospects of a recession, and then if a recession hits, do we get stuck, I'll be a little biased, with the unprepared Democrats?
You know, you guys talk like you want the economy to fail. You want people to suffer. These people talk like you want people to lose their home, to lose their job. And that's all you people talking about. You just wishing for the economy to fail.
No,
I'm
actually,
just amazed.
Hold on.
I'm amazed that you people saying that.
No, hold on. Could I just interject one thing? Actually, I'm scared. If you want my honest opinion, I am scared to death that the economy goes south because I am scared to death, to repeat myself, of any of the Democrats I see now actually rising to power. I think we are in such big trouble. We have no idea.
Well, you people hate Trump so much.
No, we don't hate Trump.
And, you know, I hear it all the time. You people hate Trump so much. You wish the economy failed. You don't realize people will lose their houses, they'll lose their jobs, they'll lose everything.
Well, can I just interject another thing? Hold on.
You people wish
maybe you're listening to NPR or WESU. I don't think you really, I mean, in all due respect, I don't think you really listen to me. I am scared to death of any Democrat right now getting hold of power in America because I think it would be the end of America for a while.
Well, it would be.
So I'm not anti-Trump. I think he's got some idiosyncrasies, but looking at Biden, Kamala Harris, this boat of, I can't even believe that, I don't know how old you are, but I know at my age, I am shocked that this is the Democratic Party, and if they get in, we are screwed.
Well, I'll tell you what, though. If you don't worry about those Democrats, if you don't worry about what their policies are, if you don't worry about them destroying this country, you should be, because they will destroy this country.
That's what I just got through saying. They will destroy. They will make President Obama look like Puff the Marshmallow Man. It is not good.
Well, see, that's what I'm concerned about, because every time I turn TV and radio, listen to NPR and everything else, they hope the economy will change.
That's true. That's not us. Because if any of these people get in, we are screwed.
Just to prove Trump wrong. And I'm saying, do you realize how many people you're hurting when the economy tanks?
Well, they want...
You people are insane.
Let me ask you a question.
You liberals are insane.
Before I throw it out to Chris, let me ask you a question. Why is the media hell-bent on taking down this president? I know it's an overused question, but I am intrigued. I'm a relatively smart guy. I've been around the block. I've never seen this in my adult life, that a concerted effort by the mainstream media to take this guy down. They would root for a recession. They couldn't wish for anything more. Epstein, let's look at this Epstein case. Clinton's the one that went down there 10 times, but yet Trump made an offhand comment, and supposedly he's the focal point. It's unbelievable to me, your comment.
Well, my comment is simply that if you want to restore the country, you have subverted a duly elected president, You have tried to overturn a presidential election, and you have tried everything to get rid of this man.
Who's behind it?
What's
There's got to
behind
be people behind it.
What, I'll put it this way. Anytime you want to subvert an election, this is a classic example of how to do it. Where you got the FBI, you got the Department of Justice, everybody's trying to overthrow a duly elected president, and everybody don't pay attention to it.
So, caller, before we let you go, and thanks for calling in, what Jeff and I were talking about is the likelihood we would get a recession. And so just,
Well, you people wishing for a recession.
No, we're
because
not.
You want to overthrow Trump, and you wishing that the economy would tank, and you don't like the fact that he's challenging.
Beyond wishing for it, what do you think? Because here's the problem. If Trump has hung his hat on the economy, if the economy goes south, he's screwed.
Well,
Chris asked you a question. What is the chances of the economy going down the crap?
That's exactly what I'm saying. You people are wishing people suffer. You people are wishing the economy would tank. You people are wishing that the economy goes south so you can blame Trump.
Okay.
That's what you people are wishing for. And it's a shame because people suffer.
All right. Well, listen, I appreciate you calling in. I think if you listen to the rest of the show, you'll find that I am a supporter of the president, and I am not wishing recession. In fact, I do not think we are going to get a recession because I believe a deal with China will get done, and the U.S. economy is stronger than the media will let you believe, even though there are some struggles in the stock market now, and there's nervousness and quite a bit of volatility. I do not see a recession before the presidential election, and that's where my opinion is. Thank you very much.
So we invite our other callers to call in about the likelihood of a recession and also the likelihood that Trump suffers from it, which could be very much true. 860-685-7700, 685-7700. Now, Chris.
Yes.
You're, I beats the alternative, but you're much younger than me. That's fine. Even though I'm much better looking. Have you ever seen, when did you become cognizant of politics? I would say for you, Reagan's second election, possibly.
Yes.
Okay, there you go.
His second administration, the first time I was eligible to vote was for when it was Perot, Clinton, and George H.
Okay, yeah, but you were in high, you were cognizant of what's going on. Okay.
Yep.
Are you shocked? Yeah, I don't want to put. What is your takeaway of the current field of Democrats? You've been around. Obviously, you're younger than me, but you've been around. You've seen things. Your impression?
My impression is that they seem to believe, at least the major leaders, is they seem to believe if they are really fired up and they talk loud and they talk tough, that they are serious. But I believe when you look at their policy prescriptions, there is a lack of seriousness. Some of this stuff they are proposing, even if they were elected, I know you expressed concerns. Stuff is just, it's not going to happen.
Okay, so how does it happen? How does it
feasible.
happen? And by the way, we invite our callers to call in. We're talking about the current state of the Democratic election or the Democratic primary, 860-685-7700, 685-7700. I'll tell you what, I might not have always agreed with the Democratic Party, but you had Clinton, you had Gore, who in 2000 was, before he went off the rails, was a mainstream candidate. How do you get, and what is behind it, at this stage, 2019, you get something that if it was a movie, you'd say this is impossible.
Yeah.
I mean, impossible.
Yeah.
You're talking about reparations.
Sure.
You're talking about things that are just off the hook.
Well, use for an example, to your point and the point that I made before, Kamala Harris said this week that she will build an economy where people didn't need to have second jobs. That's not serious. Lots of people have second jobs for a lot of different reasons. Let me ask you a question. How
ahead.
many jobs do you have?
I have 2 jobs.
I have 2. Okay. And lots of people have 2 jobs. Now, are you in abject poverty and that's why you have 2 jobs? No. I mean, there's lots of reasons why people have multiple jobs, and it's not a reflection of a lousy economy. And setting that aside, it's not something the federal government is going to fix. And then lastly, people have always had multiple jobs. Think of your parents and your grandparents. But she's out there saying she's going to build an economy.
Has she ever been in the economy?
Well, she was a district attorney,
Well, that's not the
no,
economy.
not in the for-profit sector.
Okay, so has any of these people been in an economy?
I don't believe so. Bernie Sanders never was. Joe Biden pretty much never was.
Never.
Cory Booker, no. Elizabeth Warren, I think, had time in academia, maybe more recently than some of the others.
That's not the real economy.
Okay, fair enough.
It's true.
No, it is. It is true, and that's the kind of thing.
And by the way, she's the one who's going to win.
Elizabeth Warren?
Yes.
Oh, I believe she will be the nominee too.
She will
that's where I
absolutely
would put my money.
Absolutely be the nominee. I think I'd love to hear from the callers. 860-685-7700, 685-7700. I think Biden goes away within 2 months. What do you think? I think his gas. He used to be you could be the gas machine, and it's like, stand up, Johnny. When the guy's in a wheelchair. Okay, you could be. That's fine. He's making gaffes that are they're disturbing, even the liberal media.
Yes, I think he has staying power because of his vice president experience and his high.
I think he's got 2 more debates and then he's done.
Yeah, but I think he'll be out after New Hampshire.
Okay. Yeah, he's done. Bernie's leading in New Hampshire. I think he's the most dangerous man in America. How does that sound?
Yeah.
I think he's number one. Why I say he's dangerous. If you're a true believer, you may not be so dangerous. I think he's he's someone that never worked a day in his life, became a mayor, blah blah blah. The rest is history. He's a big socialist. He's got 3 houses and $1.5 million. Obviously, he doesn't believe in what he really says.
No, and maybe you could call him up and see if you could go stay at go live in his house.
And I would say, get the hell out of here.
I think he sold one of the 3, though.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's full of it. His wife drove a university or a college into
like a for-profit college or something.
I don't know if it's for-profit.
No, yeah, maybe you're right.
But she drove it into the ground by falsifying things.
So, but do you think he has staying power where he'll be in the race till the very end, like last time? But I don't see him winning out. I find that very improbable.
I think Trump, when I read this, 4 or 5 months ago, time flies, he was scared of Biden. I think he's not scared of Biden anymore. I think he better be scared of Elizabeth Warren.
Right. And
she can hold her own.
And I think she's a fresher face. She's younger.
Not that much younger. She's 70, but still.
It's that?
Yeah, they're all old.
Oh, she seems...
Yeah, well, she is a fresh face. Yeah,
but
and
she
70's
seems younger
not
to me.
No doubt. 70's not what it used to be.
And how old is Bernie Sanders?
76 or something.
And I think if she could wrestle it away, she would get Bernie supporters, and they wouldn't lose much enthusiasm. Whereas if you go the Biden route, that group would be much more discouraged.
It's
just
over.
Like they were when Hillary Clinton
Here's
won
the problem.
nomination.
If the economy does tank, I think people that would never take Elizabeth Warren, Bernie's Bernie. I'm sorry. I'd love to hear from a Bernie supporter. 685-7700. 685-7700. That train has left the station. That ship has sailed. So. It's over. She's not over. If the economy, this is a real thing. If the economy goes south, she could win.
If the economy goes south, she could win. If the economy goes south, I think, given the strange world we live in with Trump and just the divisiveness that he contributes to, even though I'm a fan of his. I mean, he's certainly in the arena. The other side's not innocent either. But anything can happen in this next election. I think like the previous election, where we had a really unprecedented, surprising emergence of Trump in the GOP party, and then surprisingly him beating Hillary Clinton. I think 2020, anything can happen.
If the economy tanks, Elizabeth Warren is a more than viable candidate. We have, I think, is Abraham on the line. Abraham, are you there?
Hello?
Hey,
Yes,
Abraham, can
what's
you
up?
shut the radio before we start chatting?
Okay, I wanted to say that the country that we live in, the continent, is like made up of federal democratic republics. People can come in on any side, but they have to come in the right way, you know?
Okay.
You know, I'm nothing against all these people that want to be
So
here.
you're not
'Cause I remember my
so you're
grandfather
not
wanted to be here.
for an open border that anyone can come in?
Not in any way. There has to be specific, you know, otherwise they blow up buildings and shoot down, you know, skyscrapers and stuff.
Yeah. Well, thank you, Abraham. You know, we talked, Jeff and I, about how the mood has changed, but I think about Thomas Friedman, the very popular New York Times columnist. For years and years, he said, I want a big wall and I want a big gate. And I wish the American politic would go back to that, where we control our border. That doesn't mean we're not going to be pro-immigration, but we need to control it. We need to have standards, and we need to be respectful of who we let in. That's going to make society, American society, better. And that used to be very mainstream, and Tom Friedman is certainly not a conservative, but that's what he believed, and I'd like to see us go back to that. Thank you, Abraham.
Thank you very much. I actually am going to say that I think we need a 5-year. We need to lower, restrict, put a little governor on all immigration. I'm sorry, but I think we've absorbed so many people that we need time to digest it. And I think the whole thing of, yes, going fast is good. Okay, I'm just drawing a parallel. Going fast is good. Yeah, but going fast, you know, on a 30-mile-an-hour street isn't all. In other words, yeah, immigration is good. Overall, yeah, but
Yes.
not all the time. Meaning
Right.
you have periods of time where immigration is excellent. It's great. It built a country. I get it, yeah, all that stuff. Then you have a time where you need to kind of put the brakes on and kind of digest. You've absorbed, I think it's like a third of all people weren't even born in this country. You kind of need time to like have people assimilate. And I don't buy these platitudes that, oh, yeah, immigration, you know, is always good. Well, overall it's good, but you need some time sometimes to absorb some things.
So you're saying that because it's happened so fast and the numbers are so great that we could have a little bit of a
Breathing
timeout
zone.
or a slowdown just to make sure the melting pot is working as well.
Yeah,
as
I don't
it's
think the
done
melting.
historically.
Yeah, I think there's forces at work to undermine the melting pot, primarily on the left. It's gotten so crazy that you're rewarded not to be part of the melting pot, not the reverse. And I think to have a cohesive society, you need some unity and some coherence in terms of you have a basic social structure. I think we're losing that.
I think there's something to that, although our economy is powered by immigrants. They are a very dynamic part of the
but also
economy with business formation.
How about merit-based immigration?
No, I am very much in favor of that. We need to have
So why do the
standards.
Democrats think that's racist? Because I think it's racist that they think it's racist. Who's to say someone from Africa couldn't be a great IT guy? That's pretty racist to me. They just automatically assume that all merit-based people have to be from Europe.
Yes.
That's racist.
I agree with that. I think it's a great point. And
I think there's people in the Middle East and Africa, in impoverished places, that could be absolutely brilliant and are brilliant. Bring them here. But the Democrats automatically say when Trump says merit-based that it's got to be racist. I don't think it's racist at all.
I don't think it's racist at all. And it's what companies do. You know, if a company interviews a bunch of people because they have a position, how do they choose? Do they just choose, hey, the first person, or, hey, we're going to take the seventh person that shows up? Or do they say, we're going to take this next person because they're blue, red, white, or whatever? No, they pick the best candidate. So why wouldn't the country do the same thing? You do that in sports. You do it
But
in
why
business.
are the left? Why are the left so hell bent on undermining America? And it's true. Let's just take the gloves off, because they want a dependency class, and that's just a fact of life. Because they know it's BS. You have enough people from Africa that are more than qualified for any job. Meaning, in other words, they could come over here.
Sure.
Maybe people from the Middle East, absolutely, they can come here. But they want people that are dependent.
Yes.
Because they know they've lost Middle America. Isn't that not the case?
I think that is the case, and they want, and go back to my comments with Kamala Harris, she wants to have a government that basically outlaws that you have a second job. How are you going to do that? Well, the government's got to be pretty darn powerful, and you need people to come to the government and say, please, can you do this for me? And that's not really traditional American values. Yes,
well,
the
aren't
can
we?
help.
Don't we run the risk right now, if many of these people get in, that we're throwing out? Maybe we're dinosaurs. Maybe what we believe in is antiquated, and American values are really antiquated, that we're dinosaurs, that we need to move on.
We are going to find out in this next election, right? Because if someone like Kamala Harris or Elizabeth Warren or Bernie Sanders, with some of these policy prescriptions like Medicare for all and reparations and open borders, that would take the country in a very different direction than we're currently on. And we're going to find out in 2020. I think
we did drop a call at just call right back in 860-685-7700 685-7700. We dropped your call. We apologize, and we invite other callers to call in. So I'm sorry, you were saying, Chris.
No, we're going to find out in 2020. But I think that what you see in the media, the loudest, the most frequent, outspoken people, make you think that the country is more left-leaning and socialistic than is really what is occurring, because the people that disagree with that, they tend not to be as loud and outlandish and vocal. And I think what's the expression from the 70s, the silent majority?
Yes.
I would not underestimate that part of things when you watch the media or you look on Twitter, because they're busy doing other productive things to help out themselves, their families, their employers, and they're just not involved in the drama that is politics today.
Agreed. And again, we dropped a caller, and we invite other callers to call in at 860-685-7700, 685-7700. One of the questions is, are Chris and I dinosaurs, Ed? American values that was the past, and we need to morph and change everything. And yes, we need to move into a different direction, that it's antiquated. And actually, American values were racist and negative, right? I mean, that's basically what the left is saying, aren't they?
Yeah. I mean, there's a lot of...
and what's behind it? Because it's really true that we are fundamentally flawed as a country.
I'm not sure where it originates from, Jeff. It's such a hard question, but
There's got to be a motivation, though, and I think the motivation... What is the motivation? Everything has a motivation.
It's power and control, and I think they're trying to build a constituency that believes...
They're disenfranchised?
Yeah.
So you think the Democratic Party is morphed, and I think you're right, into the disenfranchised, and that goes into why they want non-merit-based immigration, because that's their only chance for survival.
Sure.
They're scared to death. Aren't they scared to death that African Americans have jobs?
Absolutely, and that's just what I was going to say. You read my mind. Why is it that the Democratic Party, that historically, at least for a generation or two, have held themselves out as being the defenders and advocates of blacks and African Americans in this country? Yet right now, unemployment in the black community is at historic lows. They've done very well since President Trump took office. Forgetting who gets credit for it, Why aren't the Democrats celebrating that?
They're scared to death of it.
Why are they not celebrating that their constituency, their loyal supporters that they've been trying to help for generations, why are they not shouting from the mountaintops how happy they are that that community is doing better than they were before? Because they can't. Their whole marketing ploy is to tell them that they're screwed and that they need the Democrats' help. And I want to see what happens with the African American vote. I am dying to see what happens because I am hopeful that many more people in the Black and African community realize that they've been sold a bag of goods that has no meaning for a long time, and more of them vote Republican. That's my hope, and I think it may happen.
Do you?
I do.
Why do you say that?
Because the unemployment numbers, and because I think that there are some emerging leaders in that community that are breaking orthodoxy, like Candace Owens and Diamond and Silk. But take Candace Owens, if you've seen her in interviews, she is a powerful, articulate person who espouses the opposite of what you get from a Reverend Al Sharpton and traditional NAACP leaders. And I believe that they have a strong possibility of building a following, enough of a following that really puts a dent in the Democrats' stranglehold over the African American vote.
Interesting. Very interesting. Yeah, I think that is quite interesting, and we'll see what happens on that. You still think it's going to be Elizabeth Warren?
Yeah, I would bet on Elizabeth Warren because I think she could get the Bernie supporters, and I think a lot of people will think that she could stand toe-to-toe with Donald Trump. Maybe she can, maybe she can't, but I believe the perception on the Democratic side, right, wrong, or indifferent, is that she could go toe-to-toe with them. And I believe they desire to have another female running, so it checks that box. And she's been around a while, and I think that she will emerge from this large field.
You do?
I do. What do you think?
I think you're right, 100%.
Awesome.
Yes.
And can I ask you a question with tying some of these policy prescriptions to health care? Because riddle me this. They often talk about corporations, businesses not paying their employees enough, portraying that the American worker is largely put upon and oppressed by their employers. Is that fair?
Yes.
So when you look at the healthcare industry, whether it's government controlled or private or some combination like it is now, they would be in favor of those employees making more money, having a bigger share in the corporate revenues and profits. Okay. Then the Democrats also say that health care is a right and affordable health care is a right, and they want to get these health care services to the American people at a lower cost. So how are we going to pay people more and also deliver the right and have them be charged less?
There's no way.
It's unserious.
Yes, but
It's
it doesn't. I
unserious.
don't think it really makes a difference anymore on the left, because I think seriousness is going out the window. I don't think it really is a big factor.
Right. Because also with this health care proposal, everybody will get what they need. Nobody will be denied care, and the middle class will not have any tax increases. This will all be borne by the 1%. It's all fantasy land. If you take these puzzle pieces, you don't even need to be a topic expert. It simply is unworkable. It doesn't make sense. So I don't understand how this fantasy policy prescriptions get them to the White House. I think ultimately they will fail.
If the economy at least treads above water.
Yeah, probably true.
That's it. Yes. Very good. So, Mr. Calandra, we've gone over a number of things. Any final thoughts?
Well, I would say just a final thought. We had that caller call in. I believe he's called in before, although it's not often that I am accused of being a anti-Trumper, or what's the term?
I think it was anti-Trumper, yes.
Yeah, I think it's a different term for it. Never Trumper.
Never Trumper.
Because that's generally not the case. But I love how we have a good dialogue on the show. We're open-minded, and we are with our callers. And I really wish we saw more of this on the media, this ugliness, divisiveness, that no matter what somebody says, they're trying to tear them down personally. You know, you go back to Bill Clinton. I am not a fan of Bill Clinton and his presidency, but I remember vividly during the 90s where I could say, boy, President Clinton did good on this and this, but I really don't like this and that. Because most people are not 100% bad or 100% good.
No.
But now the media wants you to believe that Donald Trump is 100% bad. And no matter what he wants to do is bad, bad, bad. I hope the country is more open-minded in their debate leading up to the election. So that's my PSA announcement.
I would agree. Very good.
Thank you.
And have you been following baseball lately?
I have not been following too much, although I'm a Met fan. I don't follow closely, and they've had a nice little run, although they'll probably fall a little short, too, and not make the playoffs. But no, I don't follow too much. How about you? You watch any games?
I've been watching more, yeah.
Have you been to the Yard Goat Stadium, Dunkin' Donuts Park?
I have, yes.
That's an amazing park. Our listeners should go.
Yes, absolutely. No doubt about it.
It's voted as the best minor league park in the country for a few years running now. It's a superb experience. Plus, it's easy to get in and out of, unlike going to like Yankee Stadium, which is grand. But it's a chore to get there from Central Connecticut. So go to the Yard Goats, and they're not even a paid sponsor of our show. I'm just doing that out of the kindness of my heart.
Very good. Should we wish our people a good weekend?
I hope everybody has a fabulous weekend. Enjoy some of this gorgeous weather.
Thank you very much.